So Casey obviously gets this wonderfully emotional final scene, but Jesse, what was the final scene that you actually filmed, and what was that experience like?
The last film we seen was on the burn stage when we were doing Overhaul, when Herman finds the dead cat and the father comes in, and yeah, it was. I mean, it was hard. There's no doubt. It was hard to film that. There was I guess a strange feeling on set, but a happy feeling on set. It's bittersweet. And then someone's mask didn't. Oh no, someone's headlamp went out, and for some reason, props is amazing on our show. By the way, before I say this, like props is like there with everything, and for some reason, a battery was missing, and someone had to run off and get a battery. And then we had these pike poles, and they built this amazing church. You know, it looked so real. It was such a good fire, and it was stinking hot in there, I'll tell you what. And everyone just started chanting, like hitting the pike poles on the ground and like chanting. And it sort of became this semi-pseudo like tribal send-off for me. It was awesome because everyone was sitting outside the stage because it's raised up and it's got this big hollow sound, and it was something else.
That's cool.
It was really nice. And then they, and then I finished, and then they wheeled out a cake, and we had, speeches, and Eamon gave a speech, and Taylor gave a speech, Reza gave a speech, Dimitri gave a speech, I gave a speech, and I don't give speeches, but it's been a great, a great crew, a great cast. I couldn't have asked for anything more. So it was and it was a kind of a fitting way to finish it, I think, at the burn stage. We started, it's a fire show. We started with fire, and we ended with it. It's what the show was all about. And I was like, heck, I'll even probably miss being on the burn stage. And being on the burn stage it's just no fun. It's fun the first time you do it, but then, it wears off just because it's physically hard, and, it stinks. And
I'm just gonna call you when it's I'm gonna call you when it's 2 degrees in Chicago. We're out filming. You'd be like, I don't miss it. I don't miss it.
Well, I'm not gonna miss, but even our rigs don't have heat. Well, they do have heat if you keep the engine on running, but you can't keep the engine on running because you're burning fuel all the time. So you just turn it off, and it turns into an icebox. So I mean, stuff. Even that, I'm like, I'm probably gonna miss this. Damn. Not yet.
Not yet.
Derek, can you talk about crafting the meaningful goodbye scenes with Bowden and Severide, who you could argue is Casey's longest lasting relationship?
Yeah.
And then Jesse, what was it like filming those scenes?
Well, every now and then you write scenes that you want the cast and crew to hear what's going through your own head, and I don't want to talk too much because I might get emotional, but you get to put into a way better speaker than yourself mouth, Eamon Walker, things that you wanted to say, to them. So that was a really difficult scene to write. It happens on this show, more than we write emotional episodes, and it's impossible not to get invested as a writer. I don't know how writers do it if they're just going through the motions, but you feel it intensely, and sometimes you picture what it's going to be, and then it's better than what you thought it was going to be. So I just wanted, look, Jesse meant so much to me. I wanted to end the episode with that. And in fact, I never do a preamble in a script, but in this one, because it was the 200th episode, I had a little preamble in the script about what the crew and the cast and everybody means to me, because it really is special. I don't know that it'll ever happen again like this.
Yeah, I think when we were trying to figure out how to write me out by the 200th, we were spitballing a little bit, and then the idea of bringing Griffin and Ben came back up, And that's, it felt like full circle because we didn't want to kill Casey.
Yeah.
But how do we get him out? He's in this new relationship, and things I think were going relatively well. So we had to throw a spanner in the works. And harking back to the Darden days when Casey's best friend dies, I think in the first season,
First episode,
the first season for quite a few episodes, and he made a strong connection with the kids, and then he always wanted kids since then, and then adopted a kid and lost it. And it was kind of like a really, really, really nice full circle, for Griffin to show back up, and, Ben's in trouble and the mum's in jail, and he can't really bring them to Chicago as he first thought that he could. And then to go back to the house where we filmed the pilot, that house was still boarded up. I couldn't believe it. It's been sitting there like that for 9+ years. So to go back to that house too was awesome. And then, we had that time, and then, for Casey too, to go over how his best friend died, I have to explain it to his son was, the scene played itself. I was like,
oh no, you were
I
awesome
was
in that.
trying to hold it together, and it was, the guilt and the, the longing and then the desire to pull together and help the kid, which is what he always wanted, and the hope for the future, were the things that really, stood out. So I had to sit on this stuff, and it was hard. It was really hard.
Yeah.
But great, it felt so organic for me, and a perfect full circle, I think, and a really reasonable way for Casey to organically leave the show. And
I got to give Andrea Newman and Michael Gilveri a lot of credit for that. They were the ones who were like, "What if the Darden Boys?" And I was like, "Oh, you just scored."
Yeah. Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Andrea and Michael
And the Darden Boys.
And the Darden Boys too. But yeah, those writers have been great over the years. I've enjoyed working for them very much as well.
Jesse, what was it like filming that goodbye scene on the apron where Bowden gives that lovely speech and all the original cast members hug you? Were their emotions sort of crossing over between fiction and real life?
Yeah, of course. But they were so funny, man, because when they, I turn around and Bowden's like, "Hey, didn't think, you're gonna leave without saying goodbye," and they walk up, and I could see on the first take there was this glint in their eyes, and I'm looking at them, and Taylor walks up to me to say goodbye after Bowden's speech, and he stands there for too long, and I'm like, what's going on? And he pulls up this water bottle, and then he drops on the ground. And I should preface this with, we have these water bottle games, to pass the time. You just all hug hands in a circle, and you kick the water bottle, and you've got to try and score goals between other people's legs. And it is the most fun game you can have with a water bottle. I'm not kidding you. We've played this game for for 10 years now. So the first take, he pulled out the water bottle, threw it down, and then we all, got into a circle and played the water bottle game. It was awesome. I laughed my guts out, and it was just, it's perfect. It just wraps up, 10 years of this stuff for me. And but yeah, it was, we had to sit on it, and we did want, it did play into it a little bit that, Jesse was leaving, but also I think it was pretty organic that, Casey's leaving, and he's going for 3 years, but is he? We don't know. And it's been a long time coming when, these are compadres. These are, they've gone through life and death together. So it's hard to say goodbye, see you soon kind of a thing. But yeah, it was bittersweet, but I really enjoyed it. And we get some laughs out of it too at the same time. Don't worry about that.